Hi there, it's Ron again. Making a video about sobriety and a few other things. Thursday, January 7th, made 20 months of sobriety for me. And in case you wondered, Zeus is back there. Hey, Zeus. He's just chilling. He's waiting for dinner. I'm kind of excited about it, actually. 20 months of sobriety. I've mentioned before on other podcast videos that I never really thought I would seek sobriety, much less achieve it for any significant amount of time. There's been times in the past I might have gone, a month or two without drinking, probably at the most, but 20 months. And I was discussing this with a friend the other day who has been sober for, I think he told me 16 years. Now, his number one problem was heroin. So, very dangerous stuff. But he recently passed the 16-year mark, which is quite admirable. And something that we were discussing that it's not any one thing that got either one of us to quit. Zeus, please don't chew on that, buddy. Whenever I talk on the phone, Zeus likes to chew on things. It's a really weird thing. Let's see, where was I at? I've been thinking about this. This is with my training, my speaker training for NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, coming up soon. I'm going to have some online training, and then I'll be a speaker for NAMI North Texas with their Recovery 101 program. And really looking forward to that. And I'm just kind of thinking more about what I'm going to say. This is just a little bit of a dress rehearsal, I guess. But as I said, there's not any one particular thing that made me say, okay, that's it, I'm going to quit. It was a lot of things, but I'll say something that is very important that I have talked about before. One of the primary things that helped me survive all those years of heavy drinking, and there was a lot of pot smoking too, but the drinking was a lot more damaging than the pot smoking. Hey, Zeus, please don't chew on that, buddy. The commonality running for most of my life is running itself. From 2001 to 2017 was running the Boston Marathon. There's a terrific poem that Johnny Kelly the Elder's mom wrote about the Boston Marathon. Now, Johnny Kelly the Elder, that's John A. Kelly. There's a John A. Kelly and a John J. Kelly. They each won Boston. The Elder, Johnny Kelly, won Boston twice. More significantly, he finished it 58 times. That wasn't in a row. I think he dropped out twice. That wasn't in a row, but still, to finish that race 58 times, that's still the record. It's like counting to 1,000,000, as my friend Bill Rogers said. But this poem that she wrote, it starts out, the race is always in April. It starts out, it may be springtime in the Rockies, but it's marathon time up. It may be springtime in the Rockies, but it's marathon time up here. And for the whole region, the city of Boston in particular, but really the whole region, because a lot of runners come down from New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont and everything. it's, Patriots Day, the day that the marathon is held. It's a huge holiday up there in New England. What I was going to say is that when I look at, once I started running Boston in 2001, I imagine I was much more competitive in those days. I imagined that I would probably run several Boston marathons, but I never really imagined running 17 in a row. And then when we finally get back to running them again, I'll start running Boston again, probably in 2022. But that was something that was a stabilizer for me every year, because it was something I could point to all year long. So all roads lead to Boston. All roads lead to the Boston Marathon. That's what I was thinking about when it came to thinking about my whole journey to sobriety. And it truly is a journey. That, as my therapist had said, after my friend James died, and after my best friend James died in 2005, the Boston Marathon kind of became my new best friend. I'd already run 5 in a row, and each year I was hooked on it. And a combination of everything. Here's my Boston Strong shirt again. It's not just the race, it's the people, it's the runners, it's the spectators, it's the city of Boston. And Bill Rogers, four-time Boston winner Bill Rogers, a good friend of mine, he has said many times that it gets in your blood, it kind of gets in your soul, and it occupies a large part of my soul. So even before the bombings, which is one of the most significant years for that, it was something, I'll say it's almost like a beacon. And that's funny because several miles of the race, we go down Beacon Street, the later part of the race. It kind of served as a beacon, and my whole year kind of revolved around the Boston Marathon. See, the rest of the year was kind of chaos. I was working my butt off, always trying to make enough money to go up to Boston and keep my streak going and everything. But meanwhile, I was drinking heavily, both before James died and then after I really started sliding downhill more. And then Mom died in 2009. Then had the bombings in 2013. And each time, with each loss like that, with each crisis, I kind of dove deeper and deeper into my heavy drinking, self-destructive lifestyle, hoping that I would either get the nerve up to kill myself quickly, or just in the back of my mind I thought, well, I'll probably I'm drinking heavy enough, eventually I'll just die like Bon Scott or John Bonham. Bon Scott, he just fell asleep in a car outside and never woke up, died from hypothermia. Because I was drinking, I developed a really high tolerance for alcohol, so I was drinking a lot. It wasn't unusual for me to drink a fifth of vodka in one night, as well as several beers or glasses of wine or whatever was handy, depending on where we were drinking. But in the weirdest way, having that thing to focus on every year it it kept me going. You know, it kept me going, and in its own weird way, it helped me survive long enough until 2016. I was finally, well, I was more than ready to get some counseling. My first therapist did not work out. He was not the right one for me. But then I found my current therapist in August 2017. I think I found her in July. Then it took a few weeks to coordinate our first meeting and everything. But we started August 2017. And losing my train of thought there. But that just kind of, that was one of my biggest reasons to keep going. And finally, May 7th, 2019 was when I started my sobriety. And just looking back, there's so many things about Boston. It was just the stabilizing force. And here's my finisher medal from 2013. This is one of my most meaningful, this is probably my most meaningful possession. That's my most meaningful medal or trophy out of all my, I've got at least a couple hundred running trophies and medals. Probably my most significant one. And I still, day after the bombings, I started running, a couple days after the bombings, I started running with my American flag. I've had to switch out flags a few times. But again, just that guiding force. And the Boston Marathon, it represents hope. The yellow daffodils yellow daffodils that they placed all along the course in 2014 when we returned from the bombings. Yellow daffodils are the symbol of renewal. And so each year after the bombings, I lay yellow daffodils at each one of the bombing sites, each one of the 2 bombing sites, and also at this beautiful willow tree in Boston Public Gardens, where I scattered my mom's ashes and Pretty Girl's ashes, each of them a few times, which is perfect because they just adored each other. My little red-nosed pit bull that I rehabbed from fighting, and my mom, they formed a amazing bond and just adored each other. So you see, it's that connections, and I've met so many friends and formed so many relationships because of the Boston Marathon. One of my best friends, Ron Little, is out in California. I think he's run 8 or 9 Boston Marathons. Because he hasn't run it every year like I have. But we met on the bus going out to Hopkinton in 2007. That's going up. I had met Bill Rogers a couple years before my first Boston, but I just kept going back to Boston every year and dropping in at his store and everything. That's how I got to know them, and we became friends. 2007, I finally met Dave McGilvery, the race director, and we quickly became very good friends. And just a lot of these just formed a lot of amazing friendships and relationships that probably never would have happened if I hadn't been running Boston Marathon all those times. And like I said, there's other aspects of sobriety I'll go into, but I wanted to just kind of put that thought out. Maybe this is just kind of a rough draft. And then there's this guy here. Zeus plays a big role in it. And now, with the pandemic, January 7th going into January 8th, we're still just knee deep in all this, or neck deep in all this pandemic shit. A lot of my podcasts and my videos that focus on mental health, but a lot of them revolve around experiences with the Boston Marathons and life lessons I've learned from that. Life lessons I've learned through training for it and racing it, and relationships I've formed through it. And you learn a lot about yourself. I think any marathoner will tell you that you learn a lot about yourself when you're running marathons, when you're training for and running marathons. You you learn more about what's deep inside. And as I said, the Boston Marathon, it represents hope. Yellow daffodils are perfect. Again, a symbol of renewal. And I'll continue the next time I do go up there, which, like I said, will probably be 2022, the next time I run it. And I'll definitely be laying yellow daffodils at each bombing site and at that beautiful little tree that I proclaimed as Mom's tree, and Mom's and Pretty Girl's tree up there. Well, that's about it. I'm excited. I'm actually excited about being 20 months sober. And I think I can, it's okay to say I'm proud of it. It's been avoiding the drinking itself has been easier than I thought it would. It's just the social aspect I miss a little bit, but not that much. We can find other things to do, and now, again, moving forward, my mom Helen McCracken always said, onward and upward. Right, Zeus? She always said onward and upward, and the best is yet to come. So, looking ahead to 2022, and 2021 as well, there's going to be good things. Like I said, I'll be speaking for NAMI, and that is a big motivator to stay sober as well. I've got this, I think, opportunity of a lifetime, getting involved in this Recovery 101 program and sharing my story, my mental health journey. It's, my mental health journey and my sobriety story. It's speaking with NAMI, and we'll be going out, get some online training, and then we'll start out with videos, and then eventually in person when we finally get back to that, sharing our stories and helping other people who are struggling with mental health issues themselves, or just some people almost everyone has friends or family, and advocating and educating, and as Naomi says, ending the silence, ending the stigma. But I'll just leave you with that thought from my mom: the best is yet to come. And as Jedi Master Yoda said, luminous beings are we. So good things lie ahead. All right, everyone, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and talk to you soon. Zeus, say bye. Okay, see y'all later.